Swami Vivekananda. It happened on September 11, 1893 at Chicago in America. A congregation of 7,000 learned men and women spontaneously stood up and applauded for full 2 minutes when an unknown monk from India addressed them as sisters and brothers of America instead of the customary ladies and gentlemen. After this display of spontaneous emotion, the audience sat down and the monk began his extempore speech on Vedanta, the philosophy of Hinduism. The 29-year-old monk mesmerized the gathering with his deep-rooted knowledge on Hinduism and his perspective on world philosophies and other religions. The monk was none other than Swami Vivekananda. The occasion at which the above-mentioned event happened was the first parliament of the world's religions. Swami Vivekananda was born on January 12, 1863 in Kolkata and named Narendranath Datta by his family. His father was a successful attorney and his mother was known to be a woman of deep devotion and wisdom. Narendranath was inquisitive and settled for nothing less than logical explanations to his queries. It is said that he was born with yogic temperament and practiced meditation even as a child. As a student, he excelled in all fields of learning, music, gymnastics, studies, etc. By the time he graduated from Calcutta University, he had acquired a vast knowledge on different subjects, including philosophy and history. It was his inner quest to come face to face with God that led him to renounce worldly pleasures and to seek spiritual enlightenment. During the course of this pursuit, he became an ascetic, a reformer, a nationalist, and the founder of the Ramakrishna mission in India. Sri Ramakrishna Paramhans was his guru. Let's study some of the incidents of Narendra's life as a child. Narendra, as a young boy, was bold and fearless with an exceptionally strong common sense. This is an incident when he was barely 8 years old. He used to visit a friend whose family had a champak tree in their compound. The champak flowers are said to be liked by Lord Shiva and were incidentally a favorite of Narendra too. He loved to dangle head down from the tree. One day, as he was swinging from the tree, the old man of the house recognized his voice and approached him. The old man was afraid that the boy might fall and hurt himself, or worse, that he might lose some of his precious champak flowers. He called Narendra down and told him not to climb the tree again. "Why?" asked Narendra. The old man told him that a Brahmaditya, a ghost of a Brahmin, lived on that tree. The ghost, dressed all in white and terrible to look at, wandered in that area at night. The ghost broke the necks of those who would climb the tree. Narendra simply nodded and said nothing, and the old man went away, smiling to himself in triumph. As soon as he had gone some distance, Naren climbed the tree again and was dangling back in his former position. His friend, who was there all along, cried out, "Naren, the Brahmaditya is sure to catch you. and break your neck." Naren laughed heartily and said, "What a silly fellow you are! Don't believe everything just because someone tells you. If the old grandfather's story were true, then my neck would have been broken long ago." Narendra, Swami Vivekananda, was a master storyteller whose words were as magnetic as his personality. One day, while in school, Narendra was talking animatedly to his friends during a class recess. Meanwhile, the recess was over and the teacher had entered the classroom and had begun to teach his subject. But the students were too absorbed in Narendra's story to pay any attention to the lesson. After some time, the teacher heard the whispering. He understood the situation. Visibly annoyed, he asked each student what he had been lecturing on. None could answer. But Narendra was remarkably talented. His mind could work simultaneously on two planes. While he had engaged one part of his mind in talking, he had kept the other half on the lesson. So, when the teacher asked him that question, he answered correctly. Quite confused, the teacher inquired who had been talking so long. Everybody pointed at Narendranath. But the teacher refused to believe them. He then asked all the students except Narendra to stand up on the bench. Narendra also joined his friends and stood up. The teacher asked him to sit down. But Narendra replied, "No, sir, I must also stand up because it was I who was talking to them." This incident tells us that Swami Vivekananda believed in honesty since his childhood.